Can you all hear me? Can you all see me? Fantastic. Little Harry Potter reference there for you guys. Whew, okay. What is going on, guys, and welcome back. It is your boy Aaron from All Things Entertainment, and how is everybody doing? Good morning to some, good afternoon to others, and good night to everybody else. So, hopping right in, I have made 3 videos about the Headrush Prime, talking in intense detail and overview about a few things about the Headrush Prime, but I've yet to release a video actually showing you guys a rig that I've made and audio. So I think that is going to change today, and we are going to focus on acoustic guitar. At least what I believe, I made what I would say an all-in-one acoustic guitar patch on the Headrush Prime. Super simple, super basic, gets the job done, is effective, should need everything you need to get started playing as a solo, a duo, or a band. So without further ado, let's just hop right in, roll this intro video, and have a good time. Alright guys, welcome back. So real quick before I show you guys the Headrush Prime screen and we move on to what we want to do, quickly I wanted to tell you guys that I used a 200 series Taylor, the specific model. This is a 214 CEK. I don't know if that's relevant or not, but it was a 200 series Taylor that I used to make the patch for the Headrush Prime. Alright guys, welcome back. As you guys can see, we have the Headrush touchscreen in front of us. Hopping right in, I made the patch prior to making this video because I figured the video would be shorter and I could explain to you how and why I got to where I got to and why I did those things. So moving on, going left from right, if we go to the input, I've got the input set, well, it's +1, but I've got the input set at nominal. Gate threshold, I do have the gate on, but the gate is hardly doing anything. I just personally think the input gate sucks on the Headrush Prime. But I have it on for all intents and purposes. And then next in that chain, I do have a second gate, but this isn't essentially acting as a second gate. This is more, I have a gate on -80, just because I don't need any excess noise coming through, and then I've got a slow release coming in. So if I were to strum my guitar, if I were to strum my guitar, the release would be extremely slow. I don't need any unnatural cutoffs happening. The biggest thing for me is if you're listening to this patch, or if you're listening to this patch or this video on headphones, and I start playing my guitar, which you'll see at the end of the video, there is noise. There is a digital hiss. And the biggest thing, it's super subtle, you can barely hear it, but this gate is more or less acting as a noise filter. Okay, up next in this chain, I do have a dynamic compressor. This compressor is hardly doing anything, realistically. Even, I mean, outside of a studio sense, I built this patch for live settings, solos, duos, full band. So the compressor is essentially existing for 2 reasons: to keep stuff from running away, because most of the time you'll either have too much low end or too much high end, and makeup gain. So the input was a little quiet. I didn't want to push the input too loud, so I've got plus 5 dB slow release time. Like, it exists and it's super subtle if it's doing anything at all. The main reason I have it there is for makeup gain. I also have the compressor set up before my EQs because I did not, instead of after my EQs, because I did not want the compression to be affected by the boosts and cuts that I made on the EQ if I were to put it after the fact. So now we're moving on. We are going into the territory of shaping and sculpting the tone of the acoustic guitar. As you guys can see, I have 3 EQs on here. I've got a 10-band graphic EQ, and then I've got 2 parametric EQs. The 10-band is solely here to shape or color the guitar. It exists solely to shape it, color it, kind of make it a little bit more pleasing sounding right out of the gate. And the 2 parametric EQs, the first parametric EQ is set up for an acoustic guitar setting in a live setting as a solo or a duo. So the EQ here is set up to have low end, a little bit of cuts in the low mids, so it's a little bit more pleasing, and then a boost on the high end so you can hear the presence and the strings of the acoustic guitar. I'll talk real quickly about the parameters here. On the low end, I've got it pulled back to 80 hertz. Everything below 80 hertz is gone. And then I've got, for my Taylor specifically, listening through headphones, I was using an FRFR cab, plus I've got my Yamahas next to me. I use 3 different ways to hear this. On all three speakers, 350 to 370 was awful for me. I didn't like it. And then I've got a small boost. I got a small boost at 3K, just 2 dB. All bands are wide, just to kind of bring up the string, the presence of the acoustic a little bit. As for the second parametric EQ, this second parametric is set up for an acoustic guitar in a band setting. So if you were to look, I would hope, there's a million ways, I want to add that, there's a million ways to accomplish the same thing in live audio. But for me personally, what I would do with an acoustic guitar in a band setting with a full band is I would remove all the low end. So anywhere between 150, so the high pass would live anywhere between 150, 200 hertz, and I would remove everything below that, because in a full band setting, I am focusing on hearing the acoustic over feeling it, because you'll have keys, bass, kick drum, floor tom. You'll have other instruments that'll make up the frequency loss for that instrument. It'll just fill out the frequency spectrum regardless. So on this parametric EQ, like I said, it's set up for a band setting. I've got the high pass rolled up a little bit higher. I've rolled it up to 130 I've rolled it up to 130 hertz. And then I have also got I got the same cut. Actually, it's a hair higher this time at 379 at 380 with a -6. And then I've got that same boost. I've got that same boost at 25K, and then obviously both on the solo parametric and the band parametric, I've got 14K, 15K living there, because we don't necessarily need anything above that. At that point, it's digital noise and hiss. And even though you can't visually see it or hear it, once you start incorporating all these layers of things, noise adds up. It exists whether you could visually see it or hear it or not. All right, guys, so we are making our way to the end of this video slowly. Before we continue anymore, I just want to say, if you're enjoying watching the content, please drop your boy a follow. Make sure to ring that bell and hit the subscribe button, as at the end of the day, it's It helps support what I do here, and I like to build relationships with you guys. I like to have fun. If you like gaming, music, production, graphic design, photography, if you just want a one-stop shop to hang out and just be creative, consider doing those things. I appreciate you guys. So we're moving down now. I've got 2 effects, simple effects. I do want to add more effects, but for the sake of this video, I wanted to keep it simple. Like anyone could download this or make this patch, plug in, and play, and it sounds good. And I tried to be as realistic as I could because I know it's not going to exist perfectly everywhere. So I've got 2 reverbs. I've got Headrush's air reverb, and this is just a room. The room is super subtle. It's actually very quiet. It's not necessarily there to be a reverb, but just to create a sense of space for the acoustic, to have it exist in a space, to make it sound fuller. And the reverb after that is an arena verb, and it is also very subtle, very quiet. I don't have it included with the scene change. You could just turn it on or turn it off, but it's there obviously to create depth, create a sense of largeness, we'll call it. All right, so I've scaled back the camera because I want to show you guys what I've done in the sense of button selection and grouping to make this very easy to utilize and use. So I've got 1 button and it says solo band on it. If you hit it, literally all it's doing is turning both EQs on or off. Like if I hit it, green I believe is full band, and then blue is to get that solo going, the solo EQ. And it actually looks like I made a mistake. The band EQ isn't turning off. So actually this is gonna give you guys a good opportunity for you to see how I patched this. All right, so we got our gate on, and let me see, this is, yeah, no change. So we want the parametric EQ off here. So this setup right here, the blue, this is for the solo. We've got our gate on, we've got our dynamic compressor on, got the 10 band on. The first parametric EQ is off, the second parametric is on, and then the air reverb is on, and then the arena verb has no effect because that's going to be a separate pedal. And then if we hit it, it turns green. Yep. If we hit it, it turns green. And now you can see that the EQs have swapped. Pretty simple, pretty easy, a 1-button push going from solo to band. Alright guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. I know I learn something every time I do stuff like this and upload a video, even on the video side, you know, learning to edit my own stuff and whatnot. But yeah, thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for the continued support, and I will see you guys next time for our next video.